Welcome back to a new video. This is one that I've teased on the channel. I don't usually tease upcoming stuff because I don't always know if I can deliver on them, but this project was nearly finished, so I thought I might as well put a little trailer up for it, just to show what I was working on. And of course this is massively clickbait. It's not really an Atari game, it's just made in the style of Atari 2600. I just really enjoy that kind of graphic style, and just old graphic styles in general, really. So this game is Ghost Guard. It's a game where you, a security guard that wears a ghost costume as an intimidation technique, must defend graves from robbers and then take them to jail. There are several themes in the game: grass, desert, tundra, and beach. It's a very simple story, and quite a basic game concept, but it is actually quite fun. And it kind of fits well with the Atari style, because a lot of those old Atari games were just short, simple, fun, arcadey style games. It was more about getting a high score than going on an epic adventure. Although, the Atari did have its fair share of epic adventures, like Pitfall and Adventure. Anyway, let's get back to the game. I'm quite proud of how this has turned out. It took ages to finish, not because it was difficult to make or a large project. It's just because, like so many of my other projects, I got bored of it and I shelved it. But I just couldn't bring myself to leave it unfinished. So I got it back out, and after a lot of procrastination, I finally finished it. To be fair, I only started it in October last year, so it wasn't as deeply buried as some of my other projects. But we don't talk about those ones. This was originally for a game jam back in October, but of course it didn't get finished in time. I had teamed up with someone else from the jam to do the music, and honestly they did such an amazing job. I'll put their link in the description, and I really didn't want that work to go to waste, so that was another incentive to finish the project. You can actually hear the game's music playing in the background right now. As I said earlier, I really like the style and simplicity of older games, and I wanted to make this game specifically in the style of Atari 2600. And so I'll explain a little bit about how the Atari 2600 graphics worked. It's actually fairly simple on the hardware side, but it was the software that did a lot of the heavy lifting, and that made programming the 2600 pretty difficult. I'm not going to go really in depth, but there are plenty of good in-depth videos on Atari hardware. What the Television Interface Adapter, or TIA, essentially did was create a horizontal 20 pixel pattern and either flip or repeat that horizontally, and then it would repeat that whole 40 pixel line for 192 lines to make up the whole screen. There were also two 8 pixel wide sprites that would also repeat down the screen. And lastly, there were ball and missile graphics. And the programmer would have to change the pattern of both the background and the sprites before it was sent to the television. This technique was commonly referred to as racing the beam. What made this extra difficult was that you also have to find time to run the game's code as well as generate these video patterns. All these technical hurdles the developers had to go through, and then still make a great game on top of that, kinda makes you respect the work of these Atari programmers a little bit more. So, to make that Atari style, I kept the 40 pixel by 160 line background and 8 pixel wide sprites. And the rubber has multiple colours, but only per line. And this was quite a common technique on Atari, because theoretically you could change the sprite's colour on every line if you wanted to. Okay, so I hope I explained things clearly there. I will possibly put links in the description to other videos that explain the hardware better, and I'll also link my game. I hope you liked this video. If you did, press the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff, and also leave a comment if you want to. It helps the channel a lot. Right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!